Okay. Are we good? We good? Are we rolling? There's nobody there. It's just me. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Man, I'm flattered that you've come back for a second time. I made sure that I would have a really awesome video for you today, just to reward you for all your hard work watching YouTube videos. Who doesn't love stories? Everybody likes stories. That's why I'm telling one right now. Let's see if I have the chops to tell a good one. I'm pretty excited for this. I'm pretty jacked. I just had a cup of coffee, so I'm like, woo! You know what I mean? Just, ah! My story has a little something to do with heartbreak. Significant heartbreak. Very significant. We're talking love lost and probably the love of my life. I am, of course, talking about middle school. We all know the perils of falling in love in middle school. It's tough. You know, sometimes people just don't reciprocate the love. And, you know, you gotta find your own way in the mess of rejection! This is that story. Back in the day, I didn't have very many friends. Not much has changed. Back in the day, I had a few select buddies. You know, people I could really trust. Like, hey! I had this guy, Ben. His name was Ben Brinkman, and he was the man. Ben was the type of guy that like played Pokemon like professionally. Like he was so into Pokemon. I went over to his house one time, and he was right in the middle of catching Groudon. If you've played Pokemon before, you know Groudon is a very valuable addition to your team. There's only one Groudon. Everybody wanted Groudon. He's so much cooler than Kyogre. Kyogre's okay. He's not bad. But who wants a whale? Nobody wants a whale. Everybody wants, like, Groudon. He looks like Godzilla got eaten by a boulder. Ben was right in the middle of catching this guy. And he had tossed Pokeball after Pokeball. Just Groudon would just keep getting like... He just kept coming out of the Pokeball. And he kept throwing these like advanced Pokeballs, like Great Balls and like Ultras. And like Groudon just wouldn't be caught. He wouldn't be caught. Eventually he got down to the most basic and standard of Pokeballs. My last Pokeball. He presses the button and he tosses that sucker. And then he goes, ching, which means he caught it. And then he freaking lost his mind. Yeah, it was the coolest thing ever. But it happened like right when I got to his house, so he like freaked out. I thought he was in pain because he was just like, ah! Ah! Ben, what do you need, Ben? Say it with your words. So yeah, he loves Pokemon. Ben's great. I love Ben. And he was trustworthy. You could trust Ben. If I were Frodo Baggins, Ben would have been Samwise Gamgee. That's what Ben was to me at a point in my life. I wish we still had that. I really do. Anyway, yeah. And he was on my bus. Ben was on my bus route. He was on my bus route, so, you know, that just compounded our friendship. He was also on Little League with me in elementary school, so, you know, obviously that creates a brotherly bond. If I see him again, I'm sure we'll lock eyes and be like, Little League. Anyways, middle school. It is 5th grade. We were in the big leagues, you know? Like this was new, everything was new. I was having the time of my life. I was enjoying 5th grade. I liked my teacher, Mr. Bennett. He had rosy cheeks. There was never a day I walked into school and he didn't have rosy cheeks. I don't know what was going on with Mr. Bennett's cheeks. But he was funny. He was a funny guy. So I was in Mr. Bennett's class. I was having the time of my life. It was such a great year. I remember I drew a picture of Venom from Spider-Man on top of a building, and it was amazing. So good that the guy next to me, dude, is that Venom? Oh yeah, it's Venom. Dude, can I buy that from you? Maybe for $2,000? What I actually said was, yeah, that'd be great. How's $5 sound? That's good. So I was just on a roll. 5th grade was a good year. And then the spicy senorita waltzes into town, and she's spicy. This girl is hot tamale. She is Tabasco sauce all the way. She wasn't in my class. That was one of the worst things about it. She never made it into my class. She was in the other class. She was in the neighboring class, the class next to mine. But you know where she was? My choir class. She was in my choir class. I thought, boom, she's mine. You had two choices. You could either be in band or you could be in choir. She chose choir. She chose choir. It was like we were meant to be together. What are the chances of that happening? Like 50%? Anyways, we were in choir together, and I remember introducing myself to her. What's your name? Can I kiss you? And I remember, and then she punched me in the face because she was so creeped out. No, I'm kidding. Like, I would always sit next to her, and we would talk, and she did one of the most attractive things to me. Guess what it was? Guess. She told a story. She told me a story. And I love stories. Stories are amazing. Fantastic. And it's like a scary story. And so I was scared because it was good. This is a good scary story. And it was kind of like, it was dark. It was really dark. It was kind of grotesque. I was actually a little creeped out by it. As she was telling the story, I remember staring into her eyes and spacing out. That happens to me all the time. When I like a girl, I stare into their eyes and I just space out. I'm trying to listen to what they're saying because I know they're going to ask me questions later. But when they do, I never know what to say because I spaced out. Anyways, so that happened to me. She's such a great storyteller, and I was so into it. It was scary, suspenseful, the whole 9 yards, and I was like, that was a great story, I'm in love with you. Do you want to tell me another one? School ends, I get my backpack, my little backy pack, and I get on my bus, and I sit down, I'm talking with Ben, probably telling me about the fundamentals of groudon catching, because he's so good at it, he's just doing it all the time. And guess who walks on the bus? My mom. No, I'm kidding, not my mom. Ashley. Ashley walks on the bus. Time stopped in that moment. First time that had ever happened to me when I was a kid. Immediately, as Ben was talking to me, he just like in the movies. And I'm not even listening to him. Which makes sense, because this girl was like the love of my life, and he was talking about Pokemon, something so minimal. When my wife was walking towards me, and as soon as I realized that she was on my bus, I was like, we're getting married! We're marrying each other! That's not what happened, but she walked my way. And she sits next to me! She sits right next to me, and she's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, I love you! What I actually said was, I had my my hand on the little bus thing. Oh, hey. Oh, wow, I didn't know we rode the same bus. Like, me either, this guy. It's almost like I planned it. But I didn't plan it. It was totally random. Yeah, that was the day I realized that she rode the same bus. She was the new girl. Like, make no mistake. She was attractive, and everybody realized that. Because usually when somebody's attractive, you're like, hot, sexy. Everyone knows. Yada, yada, yada. We develop a friendship over the next few weeks. Now, at a certain point, a man or a boy, in this case, boy, a boy needs to know, are my feelings reciprocated? Are my feelings reciprocated? Anybody in their right mind would be asking themselves that question. So I asked myself the question, does she like me? How can I know? How do I know she doesn't just see me as a friend? Oh, worst question in the history of mankind. So, like any enterprising and gentlemanly young man, I developed a scheme to try and see how she felt about me. I had an orthodontist appointment the following week on Monday. I knew that I wasn't going to be at school, and I knew that the entire day I just wasn't going to be at school. I thought to myself, I know what I'll do. Here's this girl. Here's this orthodontist appointment. Here's my idea. My idea was to tell everybody in the 5th grade that I was moving. That I was moving! Nobody would ever see me again because I was going to Utah or Nevada in the Badlands. I was going somewhere awesome. I was gonna go be somewhere else and go to school at another place and be gone. And I told all my friends this because I wanted everybody to be fooled by the ruse. I thought, this is going to be funny. It's hilarious. What a prank. Also, I'll get to see what Ashley thinks about me leaving. Because if I leave and she is sad, then I'll know indefinitely that this woman loves me, and I'll ask her to marry me. But if she doesn't feel sad, and instead she is indifferent, then I'll know she just wants to be friends. I'll never have to risk the embarrassment of rejection. I'll never have to face that. Instead, I can do this and see indirectly what she thinks about me. It's genius. Come on, to this day, that is a genius plan. So, I do it. So I tell everybody,
Hi, I'm going to Utah.
okay.
I'm going to Utah.
And I don't tell Ben. I spread the lie. And I told Nicholas, the guy that bought the Venom picture from me, for $5. $5! That's 10. $5. But I was excited. One, because I wasn't going into school on Monday, and that is just awesome. And nobody likes school, especially people with ADD. Boom, guilty. I went to the orthodontist. I was never afraid of the orthodontist or the dentist or anything like that because they always gave me candy, which now seems in retrospect seems a little ironic. Hey, we got the cavities out. Here's some gum cancer. Had the day off. Great Monday. Didn't do anything really. Probably played Pokemon. I was excited. Man, I was excited because I was going to school the next day. So Ben calls me because he hadn't heard until now that I was going to Utah. Dude, where, did you move? Like, he was very sad, and I was like, Ben is the man. He's so great. You're the man. I'm like, no, man, I'm not actually moving.
I want to see what Ashley's going to say when she notices that I'm not at school.
And then he's like, oh, okay. Oh, man, that's good. And he was like very relieved because we were good friends. And he's like, oh, man, I'm so glad you're not actually gone. I'm like, yeah. Oh, but hey, I should probably tell you something. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, so if this is all for Ashley, he's like, we were on the bus today and she heard that you weren't going to be here anymore. She heard that you moved. What I heard next broke my heart. To this day, I remember the pain, the suffering in my chest. It was worse than cold indifference. Dude, Ashley was excited. Dude, she was like dancing. She was like dancing on the bus and doing like a dance. And he described it to me. I'll never forget. He described the dance to me. He must have not known that I was in love with her because he was pulling no punches. Yeah, she did this, like she was pointing, she was doing this. What the freak is this? What are you doing, Ashley? That's not even a dance. Do an actual dance. Did the light off? The light turned off. The battery on that thing sucks.